I'm done applauding smart cap management when the banners haven't moved in decades. In Dallas, you are what the tape says you are, and right now the tape says this franchise is operating cautiously instead of ruthlessly. Tagging George Pickens at $27.3 million isn't a power move. To me, it's a fear-based decision from a team that doesn't trust its own pipeline. I'm Carlos Eduardo. Let's have a real conversation about what's happening at the Star. When Stephen Jones says, "We couldn't take the chance on losing him," I hear anxiety, not authority. Championship organizations don't talk about what they can't afford to lose. They talk about what they're building. The franchise tag is a financial placeholder. It's pressing pause on long-term clarity while locking in a massive cap hit for 2026. That's not dominance. That's cap triage. I see Pickens' talent. I see the vertical stress he puts on a defense, the way his routes distort coverage angles and force safeties to widen. He changes the geometry of the field. But in the shadow of the 90s, raw talent was only half the equation. Discipline, physicality, accountability, that was the standard. Stephen says Pickens was fired up and didn't want to play anywhere else. Good. That's the baseline requirement for wearing the star. In the 90s, that attitude was assumed. What mattered was whether you could survive the internal competition, whether your practice tempo matched game speed, whether you understood that soft coverage in the red zone was unacceptable. The franchise tag buys time, yes, but it also ties $27.3 million to one player for one season. That's roster physics. That's fewer resources for the trenches, fewer early extensions, fewer proactive moves. That's how teams drift into salary cap hell, not with one reckless contract, but with a pattern of short-term patches. And let's not ignore the noise. Reports suggested the Cowboys could tag and trade him. That's leverage theater. That's the Jerry World circus floating possibilities instead of projecting certainty. Dynasties are built on clarity. If Pickens is a pillar, extend him early and structure it wisely. If he's not, don't trap yourself in emotional decisions. There's also the July 15 deadline looming. If no long-term deal gets done, either plays on the tag or risks forfeiting money. That's tension baked into the locker room. In the 90s, the mental bandwidth was reserved for rings, not contract math. The star is heavy because it demands total focus. I don't question Pickens' desire. I question the strategy. Are we building something sustainable? Or are we reacting to fear of losing a playmaker? Because those are two very different philosophies. I want to see red zone efficiency that reflects discipline, not fade routes thrown into tight brackets. I want gap discipline up front so we're not asking a $27 million receiver to bail out structural flaws. I want a front office that thinks 3 years ahead, not 3 headlines ahead. Keeping Pickens might be necessary, but necessary isn't the same as visionary. If this franchise truly believes he's core to the next Super Bowl run, then act like it. Build around him intelligently. Protect the cap. Reinforce the trenches. Stop flirting with uncertainty. I will always measure this team against Landry's discipline and Jimmy Johnson's edge. That's the legacy filter. The shadow of the 90s isn't nostalgia, it's accountability. The next ring isn't a marketing slogan, it's the standard. And until I see decisions that scream dynasty instead of damage control, I'll keep demanding more from the men wearing the star.